The most important thing is connection, right? Because we are human beings. We need connection in our lives. And then once you feel like you found your people, sometimes you lose some of those people. It's like really hurtful, right? Like you make friends with someone and then you go do things together. Of course, sometimes you have people who you can only do one kind of thing with. And then other people you can do other kinds of things with. And then with some people you can do all kinds of things and it's like so good. And then some people are out of your life. And sometimes friendships, just like relationships, have an expiration date. And it's like nobody tells you this stuff when you're little. It's like, oh, you're my best friend. And then who knows what. And so it was hard for me to kind of digest that, but I heard a story that I liked, and this will come back to what we talked about, how we look at things. So you can only keep the friends who are evolving at the rate you are evolving. So if you are reinventing yourself, if you are evolving really fast, and if you are consuming a lot of ideas, and if you are trying to become the best version of yourself, and if you are making sure that you can do a lot of things that you hadn't been able to do before, then sometimes your friends are gonna be out of your life because they can't keep up with you. And it's not like it's anybody's fault. It's just that they have different routes of evolution. So if some people have to be out of your life, then it's like too bad for everyone. But it's not necessarily good or bad or anything like that. That way of looking at it like really makes me feel better about all the people that I have lost. Because for a lot of people, if not for everyone, I feel really compassionate for a lot of people. And maybe for everyone in some sense. Because I'm like, these were good people. Like we had some good times. And for sure, some of their manners I didn't like. And some of my manners they didn't like. And maybe we had some misunderstanding, or maybe we had some arguments. But as a whole, I can appreciate everyone for one fragment of their personality at least. So sometimes I miss that fragment of their personality in my life. And if you're watching this, I miss you. And well, I think I was beating myself up about this for a while. Because I was like, am I that horrible of a person? And then I was like, maybe they are that horrible of people. Because I could recall like what made us grow apart. And what were the sequences of decisions that created the distance between us. And then, and this is my last stance, I'm like, it wasn't really anybody's fault. It was just the rate of evolution, and it was the misunderstandings or the things that made us a non-match. And I always think, if you are friends with someone or if you're a couple with someone, if you work through some misunderstandings, it will make your relationship stronger. Because you have outgrown something that you didn't agree on. Or you have worked through something that you were feeling vulnerable or uncomfortable with together. And it creates a stronger bond between you because you know you can count on the person, that it's not going to be one misunderstanding that's going to, make them blow up and then you are going to be strangers. And so sometimes it's hard to like sit down with someone and talk to them and and be in that uncomfortable place of a disagreement. And then you can agree to disagree and still commit to each other. And I think a lot of successful relationships are based on this. Like, I have committed to you and I am committed to working this out between us. And if it's two healthy people with, secure attachment styles, then a lot of times that's all it takes. Commitment on both sides. And it works for a long time. And then for some people, it will work for a long time and then they will grow apart and then they will, divorce or create a completely different route for their relationship. But just sticking with friends, I think if a relationship never has a struggle, it's like not deep enough. And that may be my conviction, and that may be something that like makes my relationships hard because I am like a confrontative person. But I think it's inevitable if you are living in a world with all the impulses and all the stimulations in the world, then you are going to have different viewpoints with your friends. And if you can't talk about it, I don't think you are real friends, or not by my book. But if you can talk about it and, decide that you can still love each other even if you have different opinions about things, I think that's a strengthening of a relationship. But how this all connects to how to view the world, because I think that's really making me kind of happy to be alive, that viewpoint of like everything is happening for me. Looking at friendships like this is one viewpoint, it's the rate of evolution, and some people you will keep and others you will not be able to keep. And sometimes it's because they don't grow at the rate that you're growing. Is this viewpoint helping me? This viewpoint is helping me a lot because I am very likely to be very hard on myself. And I was really hard on myself about these relationships because I was like, maybe I should have done something differently. Maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on that person. And maybe that's exactly what I needed to learn, not to be so hard on my friends. But I can't take back whatever I did or didn't do. But going forward, I can learn from it. And so the viewpoint that's really helping me right now is that everything is happening for me. So, I'm reading The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And I'm really enjoying the process that it's taking me through. I think the whole book is, in one way, making me open up to the world, because the world is full of wonder. And you can decide to look at the world like a child, like with wondrous eyes and being amazed at all the great things that are happening. Or you can decide to look at the world like a bitter old lady and be like, nothing ever works. Nothing ever works out for me, or something like that. And you can take that viewpoint. And some people are even like proud of this viewpoint, right? So they're like, oh, because I know enough about the world, I know that nothing ever works. And they are bitter or cynical. And like, is it helping them? I don't know. But I know that for me, I want to be more likely to be happy than to be bitter or sad. And I think that's the real knowing of how life really is, because I have lost a lot of people from my family and I have lived through some pretty heavy stuff. And the truest of the true revelation is that it's my decision how I look at life. And so I can decide, okay, everything is happening for me, everything is teaching me, and what is the silver lining? So why not look at everything like it's happening for you? Why not help yourself find the silver lining in everything? Like if there is a struggle, you can live through the struggle and you can try to figure it out. This is not about like making yourself like a sitting duck. It's about like, I'm living through this struggle and I trust that I will learn from it. You can call it God, or you can call it the universe, or you can call it fate or faith. And it's all in the same direction of like how you make sense of the world matters. If I allow myself to be like so self-centered that everything is happening for me, then everything really is happening for me, because my viewpoint is that everything is happening for me. When it's not raining, I'm gonna be happy that it's a good day and it's not raining. And if it's raining, I'm gonna be happy that it's raining, because good things are coming after a rain. And sometimes it's really hard to see, because it's like you are sitting there and you realize like how much trouble you're going through and how you are creating like scenarios in your head that you have to figure out. And you're crying because you feel lonely, or you're crying because you made a bad business decision. Okay, so maybe you're crying because you made a bad business decision. And can I say bad business decision? So no, I cannot. So maybe you're crying because you made a bad business decision, or because you are broken up with, or whatever. But if you have the mindset that everything is happening for you, and the growth mindset of I am learning from this, I am becoming better through this experience, then really everything is happening for you. You are a flower. You are like, who knows what? Maybe you're a plant if you don't want to be so girly. You are a plant, and all the drought and all the flood and all the sun and all the cool, everything is happening, and you are living through it, and you are becoming better, and you are growing. And if the right circumstances occur, and because you are not a flower planted in a pot, if you create the right circumstances for yourself, then you're gonna bloom, and you're gonna have the flower that you were meant to have. A cactus can never become an orchid, probably, but a cactus can flower also. And so I think that's what happens. Like, people will tell me, oh my God, you have lived through such trauma, like you're so strong. And I'm like, I'm so tired of being strong. Like, I would just love to be like really lucky and well loved and successful and with no struggles, because I'm like, I've had enough. But life is not, the absence of problems. And there's a saying, I think, that everybody is suffering on their own level. So there's always going to be something. And if it's, if it's not you having to work through some things, then it's your private chef being late on the night of the party that you're organizing, whatever. There's always going to be something that's not perfect, because perfect is a made-up concept. A good life is really living through everything with acceptance and appreciation, and making sure that you can step back into this mindful viewpoint of like, I'm thankful to be alive. And oh my God, I know this sounds really bad. I am thankful to be alive. And because when I am sitting at home and crying and like feel really alone, I'm like, oh, I'm thankful to be alive. Like, what a bullshit. But really, like, there's this one life we have. It's so wondrous. Like, you can feel sad and you're allowed to, like, go through your struggles and go deep down to the bottom of the struggle. But then don't forget you to realize yourself and to raise yourself up. Because then it's a decision, you know, like, what point is there in really being sad about all the things that I don't have anymore? Maybe it's just making place for new and better things. And maybe this is the viewpoint that is helping me the most. Could I be sad? Oh, my parents died. You know, I don't want to be that person who is like 80 years old and behaves like a child. And then everybody's like, oh, well, yeah, his parents died when he was really young. And I'm like, no. I consider myself a her, but I was just saying that for the purposes of an example. I want to be taking responsibility for my life and say, I am happy for all the things that I have. I have worked for a lot of these things, and I am lucky enough to have been given some things. And I am even appreciative of the troubles that I have had, because those are the things that made me who I am today. All the fucking struggles. Every single one of them. Every mistake I ever made. And every trauma that I ever had. Without those, I would be less me. And now the real work is to accept myself as I am. Not to want to be more of an aristocrat. Like, I was in Sicilia. So I was in Sicily and going through some palazzo, a palace of like a count, and they can trace back their lineage to, I don't know, like 1200s. And they are all, you know, aristocrats and really rich, and they live in a palace, and it's like, oh my God, to be in this family. And I'm like, no. Like, Fancy Caroline, you have a family crest, but your family is not that family. And the family crest is not even your last name, but somehow you have this family crest. Accept it. Accept yourself as who you are, with all the struggles and with the fact that you didn't get that last name, but you still have the family crest. And sometimes you get invitations in the mail to like family reunions. But you can't be an aristocrat in that sense. You don't live in a palace. But you can create for yourself whatever kind of living scenario you want. And with hard work and luck, you can get there. You can, you know, become whoever you want within the circumstances. Like, I can't be a 1950s housewife because it's 2025. And I am probably too old to become a 1950s housewife anyway. But whatever kind of a plant I was born, be it a cactus or an orchid or whatever, within myself I can bloom and I can create the best version of myself. And I shouldn't want to be the daughter of a count or whatever celebrity or whoever. I should only focus on being myself in the circumstances that I have created for myself and be the best version within that. That's what I'm coming to in the midst of all of this. For the record, I am now organizing moving to a different country, and all around is my stuff. My room looks exactly like every meme from COVID, when people cleaned up their viewpoint of the camera and then everything else was just a big mess. That's how I'm living right now. Harsh conditions can create a stronger person, And harsh conditions can create a stronger plant also. And sometimes I think I don't want to connect to people who have lost something, and I don't want to connect to people who have lived through hardship, and I just want to connect to people who are happy and successful. And I guess every time I meet someone and they have the face of like happy and not compassionate, I either end up not liking them or I end up seeing that it's fake. And deep down they have all the trauma, but they refuse to accept it. And it's so interesting that I think my happiness with life comes from through accepting the trauma and like being okay with all of it. And it's a different kind of happiness. And it's only recently that I am, I think, making friends with all the shit that I have gone through. And maybe it's only now that I am understanding. Because when I was younger, I understood, oh, it's your perspective and you can do whatever you want. And even in high school, I got, like, in my memory book, I got things like, you can do what you believe. And now a really good friend of mine said something along the lines of you could turn mud into gold. I believe in you so much, or something like that. And that really warms my heart. And as I am getting older, I see more and more perspectives of the same thing. So I am even more convinced that it's really in my hands, like I am responsible for it all. And there is this balance, like I am responsible for it all, but then I shouldn't be so responsible that I can't enjoy it. Maybe if you have the viewpoint of like, I am growing from this, and this is the way through which I have to go to achieve something even better. Like, just that faith in the future, because that's faith in me. Like, right now, I believe in myself that I'm creating a good life for myself. And no matter what life throws at me, I look at it as a step towards the best life that I could have. I don't understand what I should be doing. But again, I am trying to look at it as like I am foraging my identity through every day. I am creating my character through all the choices. And you know, there are these sayings like hard choices, easy life, and easy choices, hard life. So if you are like not planning for the future and like living by the moment or not thinking about anything, then you're creating a life for yourself that's going to end up being hard because you don't have savings or you didn't watch out for your future self. And I think I am trying to create not an easy life for myself, but a good life. And that makes for work and for people and for friends. And all the things that I am doing, I view as my origin story. Like, I think Michelle Obama said what she says to her children is every day you are practicing for yourself. If you don't do your homework today, then you're going to be less likely to do your homework the day after. And if you slack off class, then you are going to be the one who slacked off class. But so if I look at myself and I'm thinking, okay, I really don't want to make a phone call or have a negotiation or whatever. But then am I going to be that person who shied away from a phone call or a negotiation? I don't want to be that person. So I jump and act and And coming back to the point about compassion and like, did you say manure? Coming back to the compassion part about like how hardship creates a person who is more understanding and empathetic. I think if empathy can be decoupled from yourself, it's like such a potent tool in every negotiation. It's like Chris Voss, author of a Never Split the Difference book, he says, tactical empathy. Like if you can listen to the person and not be overtaken by their emotions, but understand their emotions and make sure that the other person knows that you are paying attention to them and understand them, that can give you a huge advantage in any negotiation. So being compassionate and having gone through hardship and having gone through life is really practice for everything that's ahead of you. And so if you look at it like this, then every challenge becomes a play. Because it's like, what am I learning from this? Where is this taking me? Like, how is this gonna be a brick in the road that I am walking through? So if you stay curious about your own life, then you are gonna continue to have fun and be able to play around with whatever kind of challenges come your way. You can be like, oh wow, let's see what this is bringing out in me. And let's see why this person is pushing my buttons. And then maybe at the end of the day, you're gonna be in a place with a lot of friends who are perceived to be on your level, with a lover who you are happy with, not without disagreements, but just like generally feeling like you have found your place. And with yourself, where you're like, I'm glad with what I have done and I'm looking forward to the rest. Yeah, I think that's what brings me to this perspective of like, everything is happening for me right now. Thank you, Julia Cameron. Your viewpoint, what we have talked about, is like what the horses have on their heads, right? Horses have this so that they don't wander around because they are in a carriage and they should be going one way wherever they are directed. I am a horse for myself, a workhorse for myself. So if I decide, wow, the world is full of wonder and I am so amazed by it, of course I'm gonna see all the wonder. And if you are a bitter old lady, then of course you are gonna see all the things that are going wrong with the world. And it's a decision. And it's your continuous decision every day, every moment. Like, I'm gonna be, focusing on my business, or I'm gonna be focusing on my relationships, or I'm gonna be focusing on bettering myself. And that's where you're gonna put your energy. And if you let social media drain your energy, if you let the people who are draining your energy spend time with you, if you let whatever get in your way from what you want to focus on, then they are gonna get in your way. But if you are like, oh, I'm open to new ideas and I'm open to new people who I think are gonna be the betterment of me, then it's like, this is so fun, like good things are coming my way. And like this book, it was like, come join this book club. And I was like, I have never heard about this book, but it sounds good. And this is my friend and it's so awesome. And so I started reading it and I was like, I love this. And what if it's a delusion? So be it. It's like, it's such a good delusion. But yeah, I think the moral of the story is that it's a decision. It's a decision to stay curious. It's a decision to stay open to the goodness in life and in other people. And it's a decision to be happy, I guess. To accept life how it is and be happy with it. Oh my God, did I just unlock life? Tell me in the comments.